Hey guys, Ben Buchanan here with IDI Distributors out of Nashville. Wanted to do a quick video today of what will hopefully be quite a few videos on just the basic things I see or hear every day from my spray foam contractors, questions, concerns, how to read foam, things like that. First video I'd like to go through today is on temperature sensitivity in foam, mostly open cell, but also closed cell as well. Some of the biggest questions I get is, why is my foam doing X, Y, and Z? Let's go through a couple of those now. The biggest one I get is, Ben, why do I have a cavity behind my foam? So usually when that happens, it can be one of two things. Typically the first thing I want to ask the customer is, are your walls dry? By that I mean, do you have a heater on the job site in the wintertime? Or do you have a fan on your job site in the summertime? But the second portion of that is, if it's wintertime like it is now, and you've got as much rain as we've had in the Nashville area, I want to know that I've got a heater and a fan. Number one, that heater is going to heat up that wall and hopefully draw that moisture out if it's really cold. And secondarily, that fan is going to dry that water that's on the wall off. The biggest thing that can happen if you've got a cavity behind your foam is that foam's hitting a wet wall and it just doesn't want to stick. So if you got a whole cavity that's fallen out, or you've got some pockets here and there, that could be the first issue that I'm checking. The best thing to do is get yourself a moisture meter and check that moisture content in the wall. If it's really high, 9 times out of 10, that's gonna be your problem. The second issue you can see in that same scenario is gonna be foam that is cold. Typically, if there's a cavity behind your foam, it's because you've got cold foam. Or like we said earlier, you've got a wet wall. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go bump up my temperatures 2 to 5 degrees. When you go up drastically in temperatures, it's a lot harder to come down, so I like to go up in 2 to 5 degree increments, spray for 15 to 20 minutes and see if that problem goes away. The third issue that it can be is, a lot of guys just don't have a heated whip. Have a heated whip on your hose, guys. If not, when you first start pulling that trigger, the bottom of that cavity is gonna have a cavity behind it because it's cold foam. The next thing that it can be is cold foam in your drum. Guys, during the wintertime, we've got to heat our foam up in our drums, whether you're buying a barrel warmer or you're storing your foam at temperature in your warehouse somewhere that's warm, above 70 degrees. Open cell, obviously you can recirculate, so there should be no reason, if you're spraying open cell out there, to have cold foam. Have your foam warm, guys. That is the first thing every single day. So many guys, I walk on a job site, shoot it with my laser thermometer, and you've got 50 degree barrel temps. You're never gonna spray good foam then. So that's my top tips for cavities behind foam. Now let's go to the next thing I see, which are voids on the sides of your cavity. So if you've got foam that expands and then shrinks back, that's typically foam that's gonna be too hot. So if we see these little gaps on the sides of our cavities, typically in 16-inch cavities, so if you've got really small cavities, you're gonna have that. There's just so much heat buildup in that small cavity, you're gonna get that pull away. There's nothing you can do about it. But if you've got a lot of pull away on the sides of your studs and you're constantly having to touch it up every single cavity, you can bet your foam's a little bit too hot. So just like we said before, come down a couple degrees, 2 to 5 degrees, and you should see that go away. Typically that takes some time, especially if you're a little too hot. Say it's 70, 80 degrees outside, you got your open cell set at 130, probably need to come to about 120 to 125 and see what happens there. Guys, that's my tech tip of the week. Hopefully we'll be doing these about every Friday. Keep a lookout for more of these. Thanks for listening in.